That's Papa Ed, Mama Bessie.
He did farming too, right? Your father?
Oh yes, that was his life. He didn't never learn to speak. He never learned to read and write, but he worked at a school. That was his daytime work. After 5 o'clock, he'd come home and go out to the farm and finish cultivating his land. He would call it going to the bottom. And it would be so hot, he'd come back home, eat dinner, and go right to bed around 6 o'clock in the evening. My mother had dinner on the stove at 5.
I remember them dinners. I was little, and the table spread out with biscuits, chicken.
Uh-huh.
All of them.
For holidays, my mother raised turkeys. She'd go out and kill a turkey, cook that turkey, and everybody would come around the table and eat. And anybody that come visiting, they had a plate.
What you remember when you was little? What's the first memory you got that you can remember?
Oh, I had a white boyfriend that he was so nice. He lived in the back of where we lived.
How old?
My age.
I'm talking about how old were you?
Oh, about 8 or 9, and we played together until I left and came to New York.
Now, what was his name?
Hope Miller.
He was.
One time I went home and went uptown and went to the post office to get some stamps. Who did I see but Hope Miller? He grabbed and hugged me and kissed me. And you should have seen all them white people looking.
When this was in Winston?
Yeah.
How many years later was it?
Oh, I can't say how many years it was.
I mean, about how old was you?
About maybe 28.
And you hadn't seen him since y'all was little?
Oh, I was big when we quit playing together. Then up the street was a girl named Faye Reese. I wonder if Faye's still living. We used to play ball. Faye and I was on the girls on the ball team with the boys. And I had asthma and they let me pitch so I wouldn't have to run. And I could strike them out coming and going. I did. I could pitch me a ball.
And Sam too, right?
Yeah. So Sam was left-handed.
What about hitting?
I'd hit too. I'd hit and have somebody to run for me.
A spotter.
Huh?
That's what you call a spotter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, what about school?
Oh, I hated school because we had to walk 5 miles a day. 5 miles going and 5 miles coming back. And I had asthma and I'd be so cold. The teacher would tell me, sure, sit down and warm yourself. My hands would be frozen almost. I couldn't even hold a pencil. And when the end of the term came, we had to turn in all our books. And my books were so nice and clean. The teacher showed them to the class and said, look at Shore's books. How nice she kept her books. How nice and clean they are. They said, yeah, 'cause she never used them.
What about that guy you was talking about? You and Papa be laughing about.
Uncle Wiley.
No. The guy you said come up in school and you didn't know who he was in the book. They asked you who was this guy and you said I
Marco Polo. I don't care who Marco Polo was. What good is he gonna do me?
Did you ever figure out who he was?
No, I didn't care. Told you I hated school.
But what about in the summertime, going to school?
Oh, we was out for the summer.
I mean, when it wasn't warm weather, you still had to go, right?
Yeah.
So how was that?
Up to May.
How was that walking? Was that any better?
A little bit.
When-
Then we got to the place we'd ride halfway with my father and then walk the rest of the way. Because we had to pass the school where he worked. Now, we couldn't go to that school because it was white.
And he worked at a white school.
Yeah. All the kids. Hi, Ed. You go uptown. We'd see some grown people. Hello, bud. Mama say, that's somebody kin to your daddy. He ain't no kin to me. They have a Ernie Shore Field there. That's named after somebody kin to us. Ernie Shore. But they don't want to hear that.
What about his mother?
His mother lived way in the country. You be on the highway and then you have to go off the highway and ride